Imagine stepping into an arena expecting a battle, only to witness a bromance instead. That's exactly what happened at UFC 312 when Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, yes, the same guys who once tried to take each other's heads off, were spotted chatting and laughing together. Fans were left in absolute shock. Was this a glitch in the Matrix? Had they finally realized they were long-lost twins? Rivalries fuel combat sports. They bring drama, intensity, and, let's be honest, some of the best trash talk we've ever seen. But what happens when two bitter rivals suddenly decide to let bygones be bygones? That's the story of Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, two warriors who went from trying to knock each other out to having what looked like a casual coffee date in the crowd. Unlike events happening within the octagon, one of the most thrilling ones at UFC 312 happened in the audience. Regarding this, Israel Adesanya, sometimes dubbed as the last stylebender, was sitting next to Alex Pereira, his long opposing rival, in a laid-back environment. I am actually chatting to you and laughing right now, not staring at you in rubbish. Indeed, let's chuckle. Appearing to be long-lost friends catching up over a cup of coffee, these two people had spent years trying to kill each other. Years of attempts at murder between them had gone. For those who have been tracking the controversial past of these two people, this was like seeing Batman and the Joker eat together. The unexpected unity had everyone wondering whether the apocalypse had started already. This could have been a Matrix fault. Adesanya seems to have formally moved on from the conflict and chosen peace over further hostility between us. And although it was shocking, his explanations really made a lot of sense, even if they were disturbing to hear. Let us travel back in time to help us better grasp why this newly established friendship is so unusual. Adesanya and Pereira started their feud in kickboxing, not in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Pereira defeated Adesanya not once but twice. It suffers. Adesanya's switch to mixed martial arts, MMA, and his later supremacy of the UFC middleweight division in 2019 finally followed suit, and Pereira made his UFC debut in 2021. Their paths crossed one more not too long later, and in 2022, Pereira shocked the globe by defeating Adesanya, once more, at UFC 281 via technical knockout in the fifth round. Pereira thus had 3 wins overall, whereas Adesanya got none. Izzy, on the other hand, struggles greatly with second-place finishing. Adesanya finally got his retribution in the rematch between the two fighters scheduled at UFC 287 by knockout of his opponent in the second round and recovering his belt. Has a decision been reached? All right, so it is indeed true. There was fierce rivalry here. These conflicts were epic, in fact. It was a fable of a build-up phase. Could these two be acting suddenly like old friends? Of course, it is hardly unexpected that supporters found confusion. Adesanya says that bearing hatred has a negative impact in addition to squandering time. He recently explained why he decided to bury the hatchet with Pereira and move on from practically every other former opponent. With all of these men in my life, what does it mean to detest Alex, Rob, or anyone else? That is in no way useful to me. With this, I am simply poisoning myself. I am holding grudges against someone who has moved on with their life. Why would I do that? I am not the type of person they are. I'm simply a laid-back guy. What's the point of being furious when you can just vibe instead? And he did have a particular aura. Adesanya was seen working with another former opponent, Robert Whittaker, while conversing amicably with Pereira. Something had happened a month previously. They even sparred, ate together, and joked at the expense of Dricus du Plessis, the middleweight champion. They joked about how neither of them could comprehend his continued success. Whittaker had been looking forward to a trilogy fight with Adesanya for several years. He was certain that a third war was unavoidable, despite having previously suffered 2 defeats. Nonetheless, his training with Adesanya and the formation of an unlikely relationship have radically transformed him. Indeed, the world is a strange place. If you had asked me a few years ago if I could see this coming, I would have said, not in 100 years. What has changed since then? Whittaker now found himself in need of a fresh training environment after several of his pals relocated or became ill. City kickboxing in New Zealand became suddenly attainable after only a short travel away. Everything began to fall into place after he began working with Adesanya under the supervision of Eugene Behrman, the teacher. Whitaker states, everything just started falling into place on its own. The saddest aspect, however, was that he realized he no longer wanted to compete in that third bout after working out with Adesanya. How did it come about? This stems from his own statement, "I don't fight people I eat with." In the annals of history, that must be one of the most sensible reasons for putting off a conflict. Adesanya has found peace not only via friendship with past foes, but also through growth, maturity, and possibly a small measure of self-preservation. Fighters spend years developing their talents through trash talk, competition, and fury at one another. At the end of the day, they are all just individuals striving to thrive in their own fields. Izzy claims that the change in viewpoint is working perfectly for her. Most importantly, he is content. He is training former foes and letting go of unjustified resentments. According to his own words, harboring hatred is nothing more than self-poisoning. Furthermore, there is one thing Adesanya does not require: unnecessary toxicity. Following this, will Khabib and Conor McGregor ever eat together? Will John Jones and Daniel Cormier create a podcast together? Who knows? If Adesanya and Pereira can reach an agreement, everything is potentially feasible. Whether you're just going about your daily life or playing a battle game, the lesson here is that it never hurts to let go of the past and relax. You should also make an effort to have supper with your opponents on a regular basis. What do you think? Will this friendship stand the test of time, or are we one press conference away from another rematch? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild UFC stories and updates.